Kids, we talked about the atmosphere, the winds, and the oceans and the currents, but something important that we haven't mentioned yet is that the atmosphere has no real boundaries. There are mountains, but the winds can climb the mountains and come down on the other side. Of course, when they climb, winds can expand and cool and cause rain on one side, and the winds go down on the other side. And when winds go down, there is clear skies, as we saw before, over the oceans, etc. But oceans have all these continents which block them on the eastern side and the western side. And this makes a huge difference, especially because the rotational effects which we mentioned before are not constant. Why? Because on the equator, you are going around once in 24 hours, but covering a lot of distance. Equator is got a huge bulge as opposed to the polar region where you are going around the axis and it's a very short distance. And since the speed of rotation matters, as you go from the equator towards the poles, the relative speed of rotation is different, so the rotational effects are different, and this makes impact on how ocean currents adjust on the western side of the ocean and the eastern side of the ocean. We mentioned Kuroshio in the Pacific, North Pacific, Gulf Stream in the North Atlantic. There are other currents in the southern hemisphere which are also on the western side of the respective oceans. Those tend to be called western boundary currents, and they are very fast compared to the eastern boundaries. Maybe you know some of them. The Peru-Humboldt current off of South America, or the Canary current off of Africa, and so on, are eastern boundary currents. So this is a huge difference in the ocean. Plus, there are places where the waters sink and rise, which combine with where the heat is going. Gulf Stream is bringing a lot of heat to the Greenland, Iceland, Norwegian seas, and that heat is being lost to the atmosphere, causing evaporation, leaving salt behind and making the water sink, and so on. So ocean has fascinating currents, even though it moves slowly and takes a long time compared to the atmosphere. Winds move at tens of meters per second, whereas ocean moves at centimeters per second. So we have to consider all those things. Okay, have fun with these currents then, kids.